Hello! Good morning, everyone. We are live and alive on today, Wednesday, the 19th of March. And today, spoiler season has really bloody kicked off for Tarkir Dragonstorm. I thought, yeah, you know what? Nice couple, let's have a little chat. There's going to be like 10, 20 cards to go through. No! A bunch of cards got spoiled. This is just the commander product, so all the face commanders have been spoiled now, from looking at things. And we also got... Jesus, we now have 160 cards from the main set. There are some duplicates, like lands and stuff. But yeah, we're going to go through this all today. We're going to be focusing it primarily on the formats that I play and know the most about. I'm not going to sit here talking to you about standard or modern or anything like that, because I don't play those formats. That's not why you're here, and that's not going to be helpful for anyone. So we're going to be mainly focusing on the three best formats: Cube, Limited, and Commander. We'll be focusing on those because those are the formats I play and have the most experience with. And I build a lot of cubes, I build a lot of Commander decks, and I like playing Limited. So should be good. We're here for an hour. We've got so many cards to go through. There's some very cool ones. What we'll do is we'll primarily pick out the ones that I think are going to make a splash in all the formats that I mentioned. I haven't read a bunch of these. Are you getting some live reactions to these cards? But let's jump in. All right. So from looking at it, each of these is a commander. Oh, thank you, NVIDIA. Bugger off. Each of these is the commander, and each one has like a face commander and then a dragon, which is cool. We've already had the Sultai one previewed. Looks very cool, but now we have the rest of them. So first up, we have Areni of the Unwritten, 4 and a teamer, legendary creature, Spirit Dragon, 7/7 with Flample. Whenever it enters or attacks, look at the top 8 cards of your library. You may put a dragon card from among them onto the battlefield, with the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. That's pretty good. There's a world where you don't necessarily want this as your commander, so there's already a very good teamer dragon. What's it called? Hold on, let's have a quick look. I think a lot of this teamer dragon is going to be difficult to Miriam Sentinel Worm. This one is going to be difficult to displace as the most played dragon commander in Teamer anyway, because it has whenever another non-token dragon enters the battlefield under your control, create a token that's a copy of it, except it's a token, it isn't legendary. That is just dumb. Getting in all your dragons twice is really stupid, and Miriam is going to be hard to dislodge as the most played Teamer commander, especially as this one is more expensive. However, if you are building a Miriam deck, or you have a Miriam deck, this seems like an auto-include in that now, just because it's one dragon that gives you 2 dragons. Like, especially if you're doing like other cheaty stuff, because like with this, it's or attack as well. Jesus Christ! Like this with a sneak attack seems really fun. Maybe in lower powered level queues where kind of like dragons are your top end. I don't hate this as well, but this in the Miriam deck seems dumb because if you copy this with Miriam, you're going to be getting 2 of these triggers. If you're sneak attacking it in, like I want to be cheating this into play to get 2 more to get another dragon with it. Like the fact that it has that ETB and attack means that yeah, if you are cheating into play, it's quite nice. I don't hate this in cube actually. If you actually, you're going down. Your breakfast is downstairs, darling. Yeah, this card is cool. Also, yeah, 7 mana, 7/7 flying trample will kill some people. We love that. All right, Zergo's back. Zergo is a Mardu mana for a 3/3 legendary creature Orc Warrior, and this is the first time we're seeing a new mechanic. It's the first time we're seeing Mobilize. It has Mobilize 1, which means whenever this creature attacks, create a tapped and attacking 1/1 red warrior creature token. Sacrifice it at the beginning of the next end step. Interesting. And then it has the ability, whenever a creature token you control leaves the battlefield, draw a card if it was attacking, otherwise each opponent loses 1 life. Okay. Is this Zergo an aristocrat commander then? I think the Mobilize is definitely wanting me to go wide with tokens. Like, so the fact that this is Mobilize 1, meaning I'm assuming we're going to see more Mobilize. So I would assume Mobilize 2 is 2 red warrior creature tokens. That's pretty cool. The fact that it basically gives your opponent the choice of do they chump or do they like block and eat the 1/1 and you get to draw a card, or are they going to take 1 damage? Like this with any kind of Blood Artist effect or anything like that seems pretty good in in things like Cube. Obviously this isn't going to be limited because it's a command card unless you can randomly open those in play boosters. I don't actually remember anymore. Yeah, Zergo seems like a cool there isn't a shortage of Mardu aristocratic commanders, but the fact that this one draws you cards, I kind of like. Also, it says whenever a token you control leaves the battlefield, draw a card if it was attacking. That you can still sacrifice them to trigger this, which is quite nice. So if you had like a free sack outlet, you can attack with the tokens that it makes, or it's whenever a token you control. So you can attack with a bunch of them. They can like you can even do the cool thing because there is a the reconnaissance step in combat where with the card reconnaissance you can untap your creatures after they've attacked and after they've dealt combat damage. In theory, are they still attacking after they've dealt damage? They're still in combat. That might be a rules thing we need to look up, but you could definitely you can definitely declare attacks and then sacrifice a bunch of tokens to draw up a bunch of cards. Zergo seems cool. I'm here for Zergo. Nariv Crackling Vanguard 2 in a Mardu for a 4/4 legendary creature Spirit Dragon, flying Death Touch, and when it enters, create 2 1/1 red Goblin creature tokens. When it attacks, exile a number of cards from the top of your library equal to the number of differently named tokens you control. During your turns you attacked with a commander, you may play those cards. Okay, so this one doesn't seem to be aristocratic as much. Like you could build it that way just because anything with tokens in Mardu can automatically go in that direction. But I'm liking the different named tokens. Obviously, this is only going to make you the Goblin tokens, but that seems like a cool deck building constraint. Where basically you're just trying to run as where I can see you going really deep on what is my Goblin token maker, what is my zombie Goblin, what is my zombie token maker, and basically just going down all the different lists of finding all the cards that make specific individual tokens. Like you're gonna have Goblin Shaman off of a Reflections of Kiki Jiki, that kind of thing. You're gonna have what's the there's the one that makes I don't know why I'm looking up this card. Art is Doomed Artisan. We're going to be loading up our sculpture tokens, this kind of stuff. I like the deck building thing of this. Of we're going to be going through and looking for all the different things that we need. That's pretty nice. We like that. All right, yeah, now we have a cool card. All right, Shiko and Narset Unified, 1 and a Jeskai for a 4/4 flying vigilance human spirit dragon. It has Flurry, so it's the first time we're seeing this new mechanic. Whenever you cast your second spell each turn, copy that spell if it targets a permanent or player. You may choose new targets for the copy. If you don't copy a spell this way, draw a card. Again, we're liking commanders with the word draw a card written on them, good base level. Whenever you cast your second spell each turn, copy that spell if it... So, this seems to be... My gut would be... I mean, we talked about this recently for the for the build along we were doing, but this seems to be the redeem style of deck. And we're going into Jeskai. That could be fun. I mean, this deck has sort of existed before with, is it Shu Yung? Silent Tempest. Kind of built similarly to this. Like, whenever you cast on a creature spell, you may pay, blah, blah, blah. If it's against Double Strike. This seems like that kind of build. It seems cool. And the backup of, if you just cast your second spell in a turn, draw a card. That's a perfectly fine backup win condition. Or backup on a card. Just cast 2 spells, draw a card. That's good on a flying Vigilance body for 4. We like that. Alright. Okay, don't worry, the good ones have arrived now. Let's talk about some Sultai cards. Kotis Sibzik Champion. It is a Sultai for a 3/3 legendary creature zombie warrior. Once during each of your turns, you may cast a creature spell from your graveyard by exiling 3 other cards from your graveyard in addition to paying its other costs. Interesting. Whenever one or more creatures you control enter, if one or more of them entered from a graveyard or was cast from a graveyard, put a 2+ counters on Kotis. Okay, this is flexible. I'm not blown away as someone who is picky with their Sultai commanders, who once had a dream of building every Sultai commander, and they just kept on printing too many of them. I was very close. I was like 2 off at one point. So being able to cast, so what is that top? Like that top ability is the one from. Hold on, I need to look at my cube quickly. It's escape, isn't it? Underworld Breach. Each on-land card in your graveyard has escape. 3 escape costs is mana. Yeah, so it's sort of giving everything, giving one creature a turn in your graveyard escape. That is very strong. So it's going to be a real self-melee deck. Is this unearthed creatures? It seems quite aggressive, actually. Is my gut. Like, I think that's the way you're taking it. Like, you're building it with a bunch of unearthed creatures, I'm guessing? Or creatures that can bring themselves back, so you put the counters on this. You could... So it is entering from graveyards. Oh, hold on. Actually, is this the weird thing of... Does Unearth randomly exile them first? Return this card from the graveyard... Okay, no, that's something like Flashback or something like that. So that's fine. So Unearth is good. And just reanimation spells. There are just creatures that actually come back, like Vengevine seems pretty fun with this. That seems pretty aggressive, actually. I'm kind of here for that. That seems fun. Yeah. Cool Sultai self-mill card. I will probably try it. Fine. You're twisting my arm. Alright. We have the other Teamer one. Ashika Teamer's Roar is a Teamer for a 2/2 legendary creature human warrior. Whenever you cast a creature spell, put a +1 counter on the card. If the spell's power is 4 or greater, draw a card. If the spell's power is 6 or greater, Ashiki deals damage equal to Ashiki's power to its opponent. Okay. Yeah, general Teamer play beef commander. The fact this grows is quite nice whenever you cut. Yeah. Yeah, it's a deck that we've seen plenty of times. Teamer play beef. If it's power 6 right, deal it that deal. So it is cast, which is fair. Like, you don't want this with ETBs and stuff. So this with Cascade could be quite fun because you're casting both, putting a bunch of cool stuff into play. Like, this doesn't need that much explaining to build. Ashika, bunch of ramp, bunch of beef. Crack on. Yeah. All your ramp and utility needs to be on creatures as well, because like this and then Llanowar Elves is still fine because it means this will get a counter. This was like effectively you're trying to put a Colossal Hammer on this, or even the because it is the commander dealing damage. So giving it Infect is a nice little cheeky. There's an equipment that gives it Infect. Yeah, Grafted Exoskeleton seems pretty good, if I'm honest with you, with the Sheikah. Alright, we have a couple more to get through before we get on to the main set. Felithar, the Steadfast, 1 and an Abzan for an 0/5 legendary creature human warrior. Each creature you control assigns combat damage equal to its toughness rather than its power. Creatures you control can attack as though they didn't have defender. And 3 and tap, sacrifice another creature, draw cards equal to the sacrificed creature's toughness and then equal to its card power. I don't like this card. This is annoying. Because it is just Doran. The Siege Tower, is it? This is just this, but 2025'd. That's a little boring, if I'm honest with you. I've even closed it out of disgust. Yeah, this is kind of annoying because there isn't a reason to, like, outside of Tree Folk, there isn't a reason to play Doran anymore. And Doran is a vibey as hell commander. I have a, like, Doran is a proper, we talk about this every time on the channel, Doran is a proper EDH commander, whereas Felithar is a commander. So, if you have a Doran deck and you are doing the butt breathing stuff, you've probably just got a new commander now. Yeah, not too much to say for that. The kind of deck kind of builds itself. Ooh, we have some chats. Hello. It's funny up until about 5 years ago, there was no legal sword sword commanders for tiny leaders outside of Leovold. Yeah, they printed Leovold specifically for tiny leaders, I believe. Leovold, famously miserable. I once saw a one-on-one Leovold versus Leovold match, and it was miserable to watch. Yeah, Leovold's. I love Leovold in Cube, but Leovold. This was one where I was like, oh no, Leovold banned in Command. I never have to play against it again. But yeah, there's now a bunch more, which is good, which is nice. All right, Elsha, Threefold Master. It is a Jeskai for a 1/1. Legendary creature, Jin Monk, with Trample, Prowess, and when it deals combat damage to a player, create that many 1/1 Monk creature tokens with Prowess. This is cool. I like this. This is a good reward for that Feather-style combat deck, but also just cast, like, I just want to cast Opt with this, you know? Just like Opt, Ponder, Preordain, Swords to Plowshare, Lightning Bolt. Like, effectively, how I would build this deck is Scryfall, Advanced Search, Colors, pick my colors, put my instance, mana value, where's mana value? Mana cost is, I just want criteria, blah, 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 blah. Or we're just going to go search with these options, sort by mana value, and I'm going to pick all the ones that cost 0 and 1 mana that are good. That seems phenomenal. Just go down, Bedorvent Rage, anyone that draws you a card like Bandage, that's all we're doing with this deck. We're just going to run as many cantrips or as many kind of combat things as possible, and we're going to go to town. That seems really cool. Yeah, this is oddly one-drop tribal for me. I think this is great. There'll be an overrun affecting these colours. Akroma's white thing, what's it called? Will be your win con. Akroma's will, that's how we're winning games. Seems fun. Alright, this is one that kind of got... I think someone leaked this card, so we haven't spoken about it, so let's touch it now. Is the Abzan Dragon. Spirit Dragon, 3/5. Flying Lifelink. At the beginning of your end step, put a number of +1 counters on up to one other target creature you control equal to the amount of life gained this turn. Return up to one target creature card with mana value less than or equal to the amount of life you've lost this turn from your graveyard to the battlefield. So, I like the life lossy kind of stuff. I think it's quite cool. There is definitely something there. There was another card. I think there's another card in this. Maybe not in this product, but in. Oh, there's a very cool dragon in Sultai we'll get onto in a moment that also leads into this life lossy type stuff. It's not something I've really built around before. There is a angel that kind of has been the life loss. I think it's an angel. That has been like the life lossy commander for a while. This one, Selena, because you can pay that you can activate this a bunch of times, and there's a bunch of things that care about you being on low life, or you just do this basically. You Tree of Perdition someone. That kind of stuff is pretty cool, and going into Abzan is a nice little trigger for this. Like if we're playing this. I don't think we're really faffing around with the +1 counters because you do need... It does care about the amount of life lost. So this could be fun. Just effectively a way of... yeah, cheating stuff from your graveyard into play. Like it's a self-mill deck. It's a Life Lost Matters deck. Like any deck where I can play Mortarion Daemon Primarch is a cool deck by me. So that seems fun. Elsa seems very feather. Yeah, I'd agree with that. Yeah, the both of the Jeskai ones seem very feather the redeemed combat-y tricky things, which is a very fun deck and hasn't had any pieces for a while. So yeah, very good to see. Right. So that was Commander. Let's go over the main set. We've got a bit over half an hour, which is good. So they spoiled this many cards, which is a lot of cards. We'll touch on the ones we think are cool. So, firstly, we have a cycle of Devotees. These are all 2-mana spells, or cheap spells that can filter your colours. Very important in this set, because it does look to be very much a 3-colour set. That's also reflected, because we've got the gain lands coming back in. These were... I don't think... I don't remember if they've announced... Or sorry, I haven't seen if they announced if there's going to be guaranteed one of these in each pack, as there was in Original Khans. Original Khans, effectively, everyone started on 21 life because everyone turn 1, gain land, pass. So I'm not sure if there's one in every pack, but these are good to see because this appears to be a very 3-colour set. We have a new mechanic that we need to talk about. So Bloomvine Regent is 3 green for a creature dragon. It's a 4/5 with flying, and whenever this creature or another dragon you control enters, you gain 3 life. I'll be honest, as a dragon, that is a touch anemic, but the second ability is kind of nuts. It has attached to it a sorcery omen. This is the first time we're seeing the new omen subtype. What it does is search your library for up to 2 basic forest cards, reveal them, put one onto the battlefield tapped and the other into your hand, then shuffle. That's nuts. So, effectively, this is kind of a adventure, but rather than it going to the adventure zone, you know what I mean? It's shuffled back into your library. This is really good. Like, Rip Cultivate, I guess? Like, yes, Cultivate can get any land, but if you're in a 2-colour deck, technically, I don't think there is a reason why you run Cultivate instead of Bloomvine Regent. In a 3-colour deck where you're running it for fixing, hello, meow! Do you agree? Come on. Come back. She's doing the playing hard to get thing again. Come on, darling. Yes, meow. Come on, everyone's here for you. Oh, thank you, Adblock. Bugger off. This sort of mechanic of just being like omens seem very cool. They seem like cool effects that, yeah, make like adventures are generally awesome. Ooh, you're putting your tail in my coffee, darling. That is not the vibe. Fluffy coffee. Yeah, I think omens are really cool. They're just free spells. Like any mono green deck should run this, I think, in Commander. This probably doesn't get into my regular cube, but in my Treat Yourself cube, look at all of my cubes. In my Treat Yourself cubes, where I'm running a lot of split cards, where I think I might, where the mana cost is a bit high, I think I might have a Cultivate or something like that in here. I don't, but the point is, I want, like, I'm running. Where is it? Sultina. This comes in and gets a basic land, but it has a cool ability. This is probably just going to become Bloomvine Dragon now, because it's a card that when I need it to can find my play as a land. But it's also a 4/5 dragon that gains me 3 life, which there's a food deck in here, synergizes with that. Yeah, Bloomvine Regent seems like a very cool and strong card, and then the fact that I think omens are going to be staples in decks going forward. I think omens are very cool. Right. Ooh. Alright, this is the first time looking at the... So there's a full cycle of these. These are the fancy lands from the set. I think some of these are cool. The art works better on some than on others. we like. What can we say? Yeah, we like some. We don't like others. I think I personally like the ones of the dragon going over things a bit more, but hey ho, they're all cool. All right, let's talk about Eugene, Eye of the Storms. 7 generic for a legendary creature, Planeswalker, Eugene. 7 starting loyalty. Whenever you cast this spell, exile up to 1 target permanent that's 1 or more colors. Whenever you cast a colorless spell, exile up to 1 target permanent that's more than 1 colors. That's a static. That is nuts. Oh, it's a cast trigger, which I don't think we've seen on a Planeswalker before, and then a static ability as well. +2, you gain 3 life and draw a card. A 0 of add 3 colorless mana, exactly what we want from a 7 drop. We want more ramp. And then a -11, search your library for any number of colorless non-land cards, exile them, then shuffle. Until end of turn, you may cast those cards without paying their mana cost. So this is a very commandery card, obviously. The place that... So, I've seen some people who know more about Modern than me mention this as a new Tron piece. Could be seen there, the fact that this can... It comes in and does the thing of removing the main threat your opponent has on the board. That's at least a good option, basically. And then, I don't know... Like, your opponent has to attack this, so the gain 2 life draw a card will just mean that this is, over the course of a game, will gain you a lot of life, because your opponent has to kill this, because if you ultimate this, you just win. There isn't a world where... Like there will be a colourless selection of cards that just win you the game, like in... Blightsteel Colossus, Lightning Greaves. You know what I mean? Like there is a ton of stuff, like, in any format where this is played, where it can be broken. I think this might be most broken, or like in Commander, there's probably a green... It's, in theory, a 2-color deck, but it's green and colorless. You're using green for ramp and color identity, but you're basically ramping into colorless stuff. That could be quite fun. I don't know what the commander for that would be. Yes, small cat. Meow. Good morning. Good morning. But yeah, Ugin. Is there a bad Ugin? Are all the Ugins just really bloody good? Firestorm's great. The Ineffable is really good, and so is the Pit Dragon. Yeah, okay. They're continuing the trend of good Ugin cards. Love that for them. So there's a bunch of stuff that we haven't seen yet. There's a cycle of monuments. These just look like ways of... When it enters, search your library for a basic plains, mountain... So, some fixing. This is going to be really solid for limited. We're going to need to run it. We're just going to go through and just pick out actually some cool cards rather than going through all the commons and such. They spoiled 160 cards. We don't have the time. All right. Oh, hello, small cat. We have time for this small cat, though. All right. Maelstrom of the Spirit Dragon is a land. Taps to add colorless. Taps to add 1 mana of any color. Spend this mana to only cast a dragon spell or an omen spell. We love that. And 4 and tap. Sacrifice this land. Search your library for a dragon card. Reveal it. Put it into your hand. Then shuffle. Are you running a dragon's deck? Cool. You have a new land. I don't think you play this anywhere else. I don't think there's really going to be an omen deck in Commander. It depends how many they print. As far as I'm aware, I could immediately contradict myself here, but I've only seen omens on rares as of yet. If there's a bunch more omens on, like... If just all the instant sorceries in this set are omens over with varying effects, then this could see more play other places. But generally, play this if you... Do you have a dragons deck? Cool. You have a new 5-color land for your dragons. Love that. We have the blue one. Yeah, the forest one's a bit touch weird. Why you... Love that small cat. All right. Solid 5-drop in limited here. Okay, Temur Battle Crier. It's a Temur for a 4/3. Not bad start. Creature Orc Ranger. During your turn, spells you cast cost 1 generic less to cast for each creature you control with power 4 or greater. That's pretty good. So this is it will count itself. That's pretty solid. So immediately it's just making all your beef cost 1 generic later. This is great. If you're building the commander that we spoke about earlier with this, cool. You are now adding this. Yeah, Temur Beef, again, solid archetype. The fact that this stacks is going to be very good. I would want a lot of card draw in this deck, or like a lot of card draw based around creatures' power. Return of the Wild Speaker type of cards, because you will get to a point where like the battle plan for this deck is to get to a point where like your 6 and 7 drops cost 2 or 3, so you can cast like 3 or 4 of them in a turn, give them all haste, attack straight away. That seems pretty good. All right, let's go down. All Out Assault, a cool one. So I don't know what printing this is, but let's just get a regular printing of this out so we can read it a bit easier. 2 Animadu, an enchantment. Creatures you control get +1/+1 and have Death Touch. That's a hell of a static. All your creatures' Death Touch is kind of nasty. And when it enters, if it's your main phase, there's an additional combat phase after this phase, followed by an additional main phase. When you attack next this turn, untap each creature you control. Okay, so you need to play this on main phase 1, but it just gives you an extra combat step. That's kind of broken. That seems like a very like, if you're in, like, obviously if you're attacking with creatures in Mardu, this seems very good. There is the most Mardu-iest of Mardu commanders that cares about combat. Where is it? Ishin to Heavens. This seems broken in this, because this whole deck is about attacking multiple times and like having cool attack triggers. Well done, you have a new playable in All Out Assault. Seems good. Alright. What else do we have? So, let's load up some of these. So, Rediscover the Way is a saga. It is a Jeskai from Enchantment Saga. Chapters 1 and 2, look at the top 3 cards of your library, put one of them into your hand and the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. Cool. Sort of technically a better brainstorm, because they go on the... no, ignore me, it's not a good brainstorm, because it's... but it's a decent bit of filtering, and then when you cast a non-creature spell this turn, target creature you control getting double strike until the turn. This is fine. The play pattern, like this one, feels more like a thing for limited. You're basically setting up, getting as many cheap spells into your hand as possible, and then casting 2 or 3 in one turn. You don't have to do it straight away. You can wait until you're in combat. That's quite nice, because basically your opponent's kind of buggered. Like if you've gone wide with tokens, whatever they don't block, you're gonna give double strike and hopefully buff up its power, so you can kill them. I don't think this gets there in Commander, just because your opponents will see this coming, and if they have any enchantment removal, they have at least 2 turns to point it at this. Fine card, probably one for limited. Frostcliff Siege is 1 and an Is It. Enchantment, as it enters, choose Jeskai or Teemo. So there looks to be like cycles of this. So enchantment that comes in, and you can pick where the colour pairs overlap. So Jeskai, whenever one or more creatures you control deal combat damage to a player, draw a card. Very nice to see. I love Coastal Piracy effects. They're normally 4 mana actually. So this is 2 colours, so you do need to be in Is It. But if you're in Is It doing a Flying Man style type of deck, I think you run this now. Or Teemo, creatures you control get +1/+0 and have Trample and Haste. So awesome. So yeah, if you're doing like the Flying Man, like to be fair, both of these are good in their deck. Like early game, I think you pick the card draw one, and late game you pick the win con one, because like this isn't a good overrun, but it is still an overrun, and the haste is going to be really good. Like yeah, just buffing up your big things is going to be pretty nice. Yeah, Frostcliff Siege seems like a solid card. All right, let's get to some more more dragons now. All right. Oreni, what I don't know what this artwork is. I think we've sort of seen this style before at like a Comic-Con. Let's load up the regular one. Oreni, the Song Unending, 5 and a Teemo for a 10/10. Jesus Christ. Legendary creature, Spirit Dragon, flying, protection from white and from black. And when it enters, it deals X damage divided as you choose among any number of target creatures and/or planeswalkers your opponents control, where X is the number of lands you control. So this doesn't seem like something that you're actually going to be cheating into. It's sort of a cheat into play, but you need lands, so this isn't a great like sneak target for cube or anything like that. It's fine. Like it's probably not as good as original Dragon Lord Tarkir, just because you guarantee the damage with that. Yeah, ramp deck in Commander, stick it in, it will be fine. I'm assuming the Pro White and Pro Black will randomly come up in an older format that I don't play. This seems fine. Alright. This one we like. Tevel, Arbiter of Virtue, 2 and a Sultai for a 6/6 legendary creature Spirit Dragon with flying, lifelink. Spells you cast have Delve. Wild. Each card you exile from your graveyard while casting those spells pays for 1, and whenever you cast a spell, you lose life equal to its mana value. I need to think about this. This is a lot of card. So, giving all your stuff Delve is broken. Incredibly broken. So this is a mill deck, obviously. It feels very combo-y, because the thing you need to remember with this is most Delve spells cost like 7 mana or something like that. Like, all the spells with Delve are very expensive on purpose. Like, with this, like, you can make like you can exile 1 card to make your 2 mana spell cost 1. That's very, very strong. If you fill up your graveyard, your whole hand is going to be really cheap to cast. Why I think this is more combo-y is because you're only going to have like a very small window with this, because it's kind of thing of like, maybe this is sort of like, again, this is sort of a cantrippy style of deck is how I'm saying this. But what this card reminds me of is this is sort of Bolus's Citadel on a commander. This is, you may look at the top card of your library anytime. You may play lands and cast spells on the top of your library. If you cast a spell this way, you pay life equal to its mana value rather than paying its cost. This is, it's not the same as the house, but it is house adjacent, and that's really broken. Like, this is one, I'm probably going to build this. I mean, obviously I'm going to build this. It's a Sultai commander that does something cool and interesting. This is the commander I've seen that I'm most excited by, just because this is not a line of text that we see. Spells you cast have Delve, and like, yes, whenever you cast a spell, you lose life equal to its mana value. But if you build around that, I mean, I already showed you, or we went over some life loss stuff earlier. So again, what is my lovely Primarch called? The one we went through earlier. Jesus, like Mortarion, that's it. Like, if you are being rewarded for losing life in some way, then this card is all upside. Or if you just have a way of gaining life in your deck. Like, I don't know, maybe this is secretly a food deck. Who knows? That would be Devil up. Like, you give all your spells Delve, and what you do with it is food. It's kind of funny, but that's the fact that there's a bunch of ways of building this. I am very hyped for Tevel. I think it's great. All right. Let's go through some of these. I am aware of the time, so do want to make sure we get to as many as possible, because they just spoiled. I think one news outlet printed their cards or spoiled a bunch of cards a bit early, so that's why there's a bit more of a dump in one day. Neriv, Heart of the Storm, 1 and a Mardu, legendary creature, Spirit Dragon, 4/5 flyer. If a creature you control entered this turn would deal damage, it deals twice that much damage instead. So haste tribal. We saw one before in like Jund or from Streets of New Capenna. This is another one, but in what do you call it? In Mardu. Also works with Rabble Masters, which is quite nice. So creatures that attack and make tokens will also work with this. That's pretty good. It seems like a cool new build that we haven't really seen before. Also, I guess like reanimation spells, or doesn't go in the one that Samut. There might have been a comment for the last one. Let's have a look. Which Samut are we on? Yes. Samut, yes. This one. Whenever a creature controls... Yeah, similar type of vibe. So, yeah, we've seen this kind of effect before. Yeah, Neriv seems pretty fun. Alright, let's move on. Kotis, Dragon Fang. Ooh, another Sultai legend. Damn, it's hard to keep track. 1 an Assault Eye, 2/1 Indestructible, which is nice. When it does combat damage to a player, exile the top X cards of their library, where X is the amount of damage dealt. You may cast any number of spells with mana value X or less without paying their mana cost. Okay, this is cool. This is a what's the card? Something wealth, villainous wealth on a creature. Is it actually the villainous wealth lad? I think it might be. That's cool. Villainous wealth is a hell of a way to piss off friends at a game of Commander, but very strong card, and I'm assuming that Commander might see some play, just because people like doing that kind of stuff. Right. Oh, we looked at All Out Assault. Marvellous. Have we looked at this one? Beta or kin to all? No, we have not. 2 and an Abzan, 5/7. There's a lot of good stat lines in this set. At the beginning of your end step, if a creature you control has total toughness 10 or greater, draw a card. Then if a creature you control has total toughness 20 or greater, untap each creature you control. Then if a creature you control has total toughness 40 or greater, each opponent loses half their life, rounded up. Okay, this is cool. This is more of a fun way of doing the butt tribal stuff than the one in the Commander Precon. Obviously, this goes in that deck, and it goes in any kind of Doran. But it's like, you still have to build it. I don't just generically have your win con in the command zone. I think this is cool. We're here for Beta. Have we looked at Areni? We have. Marvellous. Alright. Purging Stormbrood. 4 and a black for a creature dragon. Flying. Ward, pay 2 life. When this creature enters, removal counters from up to 1 creature. Interesting. Haven't seen any counter stuff yet in this set, so maybe there is some. It has instant. Oh, it has an omen for 1 and a white. Target creature you control gets +2/+2 and gains lifelink and hexproof until end of turn. That's a very solid combat trick. Like, that is just a combat trick that any white deck should be playing. Like, in limited anyway, should be playing. Yeah. So this is the first omen that we're seeing at uncommon, which is nice to see. If just the combat tricks and the bread and butter cards are being stuck on omens in this set, then that's pretty good. If you're in, like, this is not a like in limited, this is not an Orzhov card. This can be a black card or a white card. The black side of this card is fine. Like, you would run a 5 mana 4/4 flyer in any black deck in limited. You would run this combat trick in most decks in limited. Ooh, hold on one sec. There is some counter stuff, including ability counters. Oh, there's ability counters in this set. Okay, cool. That makes sense. That could be quite strong then with just having some interaction there. Damn, this seems like a hell of a card, actually. This seems really good. I'm also because both sides, because it gets shuffled in. I'm assuming with the omens they can push the power level and make them more like real cards. With other split cards, you generally had a bit of a not a pulling back, but kind of like, let's look at Brazen Borrower. Like both parts. Like, this is a very strong card. Both of this is fine. Or where's another one that's. Let's see if I put it in my instance. The Bone Crusher Giant. This is an obscene card, but it's 3 mana for a 4/3 that does a cool effect, or 2 mana for a shock. 2 mana for a shock is undercosted. 2 mana for this kind of pump is on rate. The creature is on rate. They can push it a bit higher because, because it's getting shuffled back in. So they can really push it. This is cool. There's a creature spoiled that when it dies, it gives a couple of counters to another creature. Oh, okay, cool. That makes sense. So yeah, so ability counters seems to be a thing. There is a lot of cards. They're about 15 minutes, so let's try and be a bit more picky. Touch on this. New Gurmag reference to Gurmag Angler. Okay, we should probably touch on the fact that Crater Hoof Behemoth is in standard. I don't know if this will make a splash, but I'm assuming this is partly here just so we can get some cool artwork. That is... Alright, that mammoth looks sick, I'm going to be honest. This might be a bit of more of a bone for Commander players. Just getting this into standard means it's going to be printed more, going to come down in price, because the hoof being 30 quid is a bit too much. Rakasha Bargain, 2 and a very all-in, a very flexible but all-in mana cost. Look at the top 4 cards of your library, put 2 of them into your hand and the rest into your graveyard. So, for constructed formats, this mana cost here, the 2 and a hybrid, 2 and a hybrid, 2 and a hybrid, will trigger up the Beanstalk from what I've seen, which is quite nice. that could have some play in a bunch of formats. I wanted to mention this one specifically because I know there was the 2 and a blue card from the last set of Matrix, which is look at the top 5 cards of your library, put some into your hand. That everyone else tells me is a good card, but I think is bad. I think this is better. Stuff going to graveyard is more important, but hey ho. Maybe that's a conversation for me and James to have on our set review. Channeling Dragonfire. This is the first time I'm seeing Harmonize. So, Channeling Dragonfire is a single red for a sorcery, deals 2 damage to any target. Slightly below rate on a sorcery, but it's fine. But it has Harmonize, 5 red. You may cast this card from your graveyard for its Harmonize cost. You may tap a creature you control to reduce its cost by X, where X is its power, then exile this spell. So this is another version. This is like flashback adjacent. I love those kind of mechanics. We've seen some stuff in this set about cards leaving graveyards. There's a Sultai commander that cares about it. The one Sultai commander we haven't looked at today of cards leaving graveyards. This will trigger all that. But just generally, a shock that they get multiple... So, Firebolt, I'm assuming, is the card. But just... effects you, or single cards you can get multiple uses out of are generally quite good. I think this is a very solid card. Or I think... Channel Dragonfire, very solid card. We do like it. Alright. Let's go down. Let's look at some cool cards. So Quasi Revenant. I think this might be one of the cards that we touched on slightly earlier. 1 black. Creature, vampire, flying, death touch, lifelink. Renew, you pay 2. So first time we're seeing Renew as well. 2 and a black. Exile this card from your graveyard. Put a flying counter, a death touch counter, and a lifelink counter on target creature. Activate only as a sorcery. That's cool. Putting these counters on a creature could be very strong. What is the... I know what I want to do with this. Goblin Sharpshooter? Tap, deals 1 damage to target creature or player. Whenever a creature dies, untap it. So if you give this lifelink and death touch, you are just machine gunning down the whole board. I think that works that way. Oh, that's cool. Cool. If you have Goblin Sharpshooter in a deck, play Quasi. There's there are other things you can do with this, just like generally creature like this is a perfectly it's a 3 mana flying death touch lifelink. And it's a 3/3. That's just a very solid base. Like this, like that alone might mean that it's cube test worthy. If you're doing anything, I know black aggro isn't the best in cube, but in lower power level cubes, you could probably try it. But just having this ability, like it will trigger your Sir Conrads, all that kind of stuff, because it's leaving the graveyard. That seems like a vibe. I'm here for that. A new target opponent exiles a creature they control and their graveyard. It seems quite sideboardy, but if you are running a Edict effect, cool, you have another one to consider. Sidisi, good. Okay, let's talk about Sidisi. 1 black legendary creature, zombie, snake, warlock. Tap, sack a creature you control with mana value X other than Sidisi. Return target creature with mana value X +1 from your graveyard to the battlefield. Activate only as a sorcery. So this is another card in the line of not Birthing Pod, but interesting. This seems cool. I do love a CC. The fact this is only 2 mana means that you can really kind of build around this in Commander. Again, self-mill deck, but the fact that you can kind of sack a creature and then... Like this is going to be really good with Delve spells. So with Gurmag Anger specifically. Mill yourself. Gurmag Anger comes into play for a lot less mana than 7, but in play, and when you sack it to this, it's a 7-drop, and then you can get an 8 back from your graveyard. You're going to run as many ways of reduce, or as many spells that reduce their cost with this deck. This seems pretty cool. Right, let's... We have about 10 minutes or so let's be a bit picky. We don't have time to go through everything, I'm afraid, but let's just go through stuff that we think is cool. Let's go through some more kind of big signposty cards. So, Voice of Victory, Unified, an Offenser. We will be doing on the channel a full... with our set review that will be coming when all the cards are spoiled for Powerful Nothing, the Cube podcast. We'll be going through everything in a bit more detail. This is very much a first impressions. There's definitely a world where I'm missing a bunch of very, like, the most broken pauper card ever. I apologise. We have 10 minutes. Let's get through this. All right. Meringue, River Regent, 4 blue for a creature dragon, 6/7 flyer. When it enters, return up to 2 other non-land permanents that own its hand. That is just a good Magic card. That is a very good Magic card. Like, 1-on-1, great. Coil and Catch, 4 mana, instant, draw 3 cards, then discard a card, then shuffle it back in. So, okay, so this is effectively... With that 4 mana, you are up 1 card, I think is how it works, because you're shuffling this back into your deck. This is great. Damn, this is a great Magic card. I am really liking Omens. They are going to be all over my Treat Yourself cube. We did a podcast about it. Listen to the Treat Yourself cube podcast. It's very cool. But Meringue, River Regent seems great. Just both of these are good. Like, the one thing with this is that 4 mana, like, if you have this in your hand and you can cast this at 4 mana, the 6 mana is so good that you might not be doing it as much, but that's kind of me being picky about the card. I'm being picky that my card is too good at being flexible. But that's the only thing with this. Like you might wait until 6, but very good card. Right, Taigam is back. 2 mana 2/2 with Flurry. So again, that's whenever you cast your second spell each turn, copy it, then exile the spell you cast with 4 time counters on it. If it doesn't have Suspend, it gains Suspend. This one's tricky, because I don't think it goes in the... Effectively, what you want to do with this is you want to cast the first spell be a cantrip, and the second spell that you're going to copy be something more impactful. Like, yes, it will just copy it, so it's not the end of the world if you do cantrip into cantrip. But in theory, you're going cantrip, extra turn spell. Hey everyone, we broke Taigam. Yeah, this seems quite good actually, because you're always copying that second spell, and you're also getting Suspend off it as well. All right, this just might just go in so much stuff. With those extra turn spells, you're removing the time counters easier. Jesus, that could be miserable. Like if this and you chain, is it 3 extra turn spells? They're just going to give you so many extra... Alright, yeah, Taigam's broken. Coming to a game changer list near you soon, maybe? Maybe it's not the problem, maybe the extra turn spells are the problem, but yeah, Taigam seems good. Alright, Elspeth's back. Legendary creature Elspeth, 5 mana, 5 loyalty. If one or more tokens would be created under your control, twice that many of these tokens are created instead. Fantastic, this card's going to be £1 million. +1, create a 1/1 white soldier creature token. Obviously, with its static, you're making 2. 0, put a +1 counter on each creature you control. Those creatures gain flying until end of turn. And a -3, destroy target creature with mana an opponent controls with mana value 3 or greater. Well, this seems broken. Any kind of white doubly effects are just really good. Like, we have Mondrak, I think it is. It's kind of has been the gold standard recently. There's also the enchantment that does it. Yeah, Elspeth seems great. The one downside, I guess, is that it can be attacked. Like, you're going to have 2 blockers, or you can also just remove their biggest threat. Goes great with other Elspeths. Like this with just... If you curve this into... like, big Elspeth. Jesus, is it that many... It's twice. Okay, it's not that many +1, it's twice. So the +1 on this will get you 6 soldiers. Jesus. Okay. This mythic is good. Alright. Voice of Victory, 1/3 Human Bard. Mobilize 2 when it attacks. Quick 2 tapped and attacking 1/1 red creature tokens, and your opponents can't cast spells during your turn. This is really good. This is a really strong Rabble Master. Like, yes, it's only got 1 power, but that ability is really annoying. I could see a bunch of decks wanting to play this. There'll be some constructed, there'll be some probably vintage nonsense with this card. These kind of silence effects are pretty good. And the fact that this just makes you 3 power when it attacks, that's good. Yeah, Voice of Victory, no bad notes. Alright, oh, this is a cool one. United Battlefront, 3 and a white for a sorcery. Look at the top 7 cards of your library. Put up to 2 non-creature, non-land permanents with mana value 3 or less from among them onto the battlefield. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. So this is sort of Collected Company at home. It being a sorcery, they definitely tested this as an instant first, and then now it's a sorcery. So not hitting creatures will be a large portion of the deck, which is not phenomenal, but yeah, I'm thinking this is going in a deck in like a Acute with. Is it just getting your ramp? Like, ooh, with Reckoner Bankbuster. Is Reckoner Bankbuster banned and stuff? It probably is. Yeah, with vehicles, actually, could be quite good. They can get off this. Like, I'll be honest with you, I'm not smart enough to build the standard deck for this, and Collected Company isn't a card that really sees cube play because you just don't really have the density of... You don't guarantee the cheap creatures to go into it. With this, we're not going to guarantee... So, this isn't for cube, this isn't for commander, but it's a very strong card. Don't sleep on it. The sorcery might actually stop it because the instance of Collected Company is very good. Alright, we have a couple of minutes. Let's do an Offenser Undying Lineage. Flash, 3 mana, 2/2 flash, first strike. Whenever another non-token creature you control dies, an offensive endures 2. It's the first time seeing endure as well. Put 2/+1 counters on it, or create a 2/2 white spirit creature token. That's also very flexible. Just the body on this is pretty good. This could be... You trade off with one of your creatures in combat, and this becomes a 3 mana 4/4 first strike. That's pretty good. I see this more as a QB card for me, for my purposes anyway, rather than Commander. I guess worst case, it is just it turns all of your creatures into Doom Travelers. Or better Doom Travelers, that kind of thing. That's not bad. I could see this in Commander actually in an Aristocrat build where kind of like you're using this and your deck is full of like Doom Dissenters and Doom Travelers. So it's just a bunch of stuff that's dying, and this doubles it up. That could be pretty fun. Maybe there's the white-black deck that doubles up death triggers. That could be quite good. Alright, Dracogenesis. Jesus Christ, this is a magic card. 8 mana enchantment. Whenever you cast dragon spells... Oh, sorry. You may cast dragon spells without paying their mana costs. Jesus Christ. So this is Rooftop Storm, but for dragons. There is a bunch of combos with Rooftop Storm, not just playing... So, Rooftop Storm is the zombie version of this, and generally the loop with that is you play something... there's ways of comboing with it. I'm not sure if there's ways of comboing with this, not immediately. There probably will be, because there's a dragon that's a free sack outlet. There's a dragon that brings stuff back from your graveyard. There's probably something you can do with this. But the Timmy in me is like, ooh, I spend 8 mana. I can play 2 8/8s. Ooh. How good this is at 8 mana, I don't know. Very Commander, but I'm probably going to test it. I do have a Karthus Tyrant of Jund deck. We're probably going to be testing this. And we looked at United Battlefront. Cool, let's just see if there's anything immediately that sticks out. I think that might have been everything that we wanted. Yes, sorry, there's one other spell with... Ooh, hold on, we haven't looked at... There's another mechanic we haven't seen yet. We'll touch this card. Agent of Kotis, 1 and a blue, human rogue, 2/1 with Renew. Exile this card from your graveyard, put 2 counters on top. Oh, we have looked at Renew. Sorry, we looked at on the good black spell. Sorry, too many cards to keep track of in this episode. But yeah, there's a bunch of new mechanics, a bunch of stuff that cares about the graveyard that I like. I am 100% going to be building the Sultai Dragon. I think I'm really here for... There's a lot of cool cards in this set, but this has got me... It's got me thinking. Cool. Right, we want to touch over. We need to end it there. Thank you all very much for watching. We'll probably be back tomorrow with some more Dragons of Tarkir spoilers, or Tarkir Dragonstorm spoilers. I don't think there's going to be as many tomorrow, just because, yeah, I think someone posted their spoilers, or posted an article with a bunch of cards in a little bit too early. So there might not be as many tomorrow. I don't know. Who knows? Tomorrow there might be another 160 cards for us to look at. Bloody hell! But this set looks sweet. This is. I am very hyped for this set. Not just. Cards was a very impactful set for me. I loved it, and yeah, the set is looking sweet so far. If we're just ramping into 8 drops, I'm going to have a wonderful time. Alright, that's what we're going to leave it for today. Thank you all very much for watching. Please like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. And until tomorrow, we'll see you all soon. Goodbye.